Hello and welcome to Ex Libris. My name is Sarah and today we are talking about just two books. One of those books has been making the rounds on BookTok and BookTube. The other is a little less known, but I think more people should be reading it. So the first book, which you've probably already heard of, is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. This one has been making the rounds on BookTok and BookTube. It seems to have caught a lot of people's imaginations. Um, the phrase that I have heard most frequently, maybe even suspiciously frequently, in regards to this novel is that it is a book about what it means to be human. Was it? Was it really? Really was it? I mean, sure, it brings up a lot of very interesting questions about what it means to be a human, what it means to be a woman, and your place in the world. However, I kind of felt like these topics were briefly touched on but not explored. I did enjoy this book. I liked it, but it did not set my world aflame in the way that it has so many other people. And that's okay. That's what books do. That's what reading is all about. It's subjective. Some people will have a very visceral and emotional attachment to a book. It will just resonate so deeply with them. Where other people, it's not going to have that effect at all. And for me, I Who've Never Known Men just didn't have that effect on me. And I bring this up only because in February I read a book called The Wall by Marlen Haushofer. And this is the book that I had wished that I Who Have Never Known Men had been. This is the book that I think is about what it means to be human, what it means to be a woman, and how to build a society of one. So The Wall is an Austrian classic, first published in German in 1963. It didn't get an English translation until about 1991, and the edition that I read was from about 2013 and translated by Sean Whiteside. More recently, Penguin has reissued the book as part of its environmental series, so it shouldn't be too hard to find, and I highly recommend it. It is about a middle-aged woman who is staying with her cousin and her cousin's husband in a cabin in the Austrian mountains. Her cousin and her cousin's husband head down for a drink in the local village one evening, and when the woman wakes up the next day, they haven't returned. Only their dog, Lynx, has returned. So the woman and the dog head off down to the village to find out where her cousin is. And on the way, she and the dog both run headfirst into an invisible wall. The wall has come down and blocked her off from all other civilization. Because it's an invisible wall, she can see through to the other side, and every living creature that is on the other side of this wall has been somehow petrified, like stone. They've just been frozen in time. And so she knows that basically anyone on the other side of the wall is now, for all intents and purposes, dead. This includes her entire family and everyone she's known, and for all she knows, she's the last person left on Earth. It's just her, the dog, a cow, a couple of cats, and that is her entire life. The book follows how she makes her living in this cabin in the woods, how she interacts with her animals, and how she becomes part of this environment. The story is kind of a feminist retelling of Robinson Crusoe, but where in Robinson Crusoe, Crusoe kind of imparts himself on the landscape. He imparts his will on all around him. In this story, the woman creates her own little society and becomes one with nature. She kind of slowly begins to uh, shed her sense of self and her femininity. Um, she becomes hard and muscular and no longer has her womanly curves. She removes all of her jewelry because she says her body is now a tool and nobody puts a gold ring on a rake. She cuts her hair short. It's all about being as efficient as possible. So essentially, what makes this book a feminist classic is the way in which she relates to her animals. So while she spends very little time mourning her grown-up children and her family who are on the other side of the wall, she cares so very deeply about the animals that now make up her little commune. Um, she is not only caring for their physical well-being in providing food for them, but she's also very careful to care for their mental well-being as well. So she knows that playing with the dog and amusing the cats is so very important for them and their mental well-being. And even when she doesn't feel like it, she knows that they are depending on her. They rely on her. Um, and she is not the master of these animals. She is just one of many. It's just so beautiful the way that she interacts with them. And while there are parts of the book that do seem quite repetitive because animal husbandry is. It's doing the same things every day to create a routine. So she chops wood, she milks the cow, she walks the dog. She chops wood, she milks the cow, she walks the dog. That's what she does. That's her life. And so while the book does sometimes go over these details in a way that can be a little repetitious, it creates that feeling of routine and you know what her life is like. I found it really beautiful, um, very touching in a way that I wasn't expecting. The descriptions of the land and the mountains and this world in which she's living in is very beautiful, very serene. She feels so at home and so comfortable and natural in this environment. And I really appreciated that. As per my point about I Who Have Never Known Men, those issues and questions about what it means to be human does come up in The Wall as well. But I felt The Wall goes into those philosophical and humanistic questions a lot deeper than I Who Have Never Known Men, as the woman in the story ponders all of these questions. And now that she is, as far as she knows, the only person left alive, what does that mean for her? And how does she continue? I really loved this book and it stayed with me. It has stayed with me in a way that I wasn't expecting. I think this is kind of a Steinbeck. Come here, baby. 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 Oh, he's at it again. Okay. Oh. And clearly, the mental well-being of our animals is so very, very important because otherwise they will interrupt you while you're filming. The narrator in this story says that she is become very wise, but that her wisdom has come too late. And I read somewhere a review that said that this book can be summed up in the same way, that it offers a great wisdom, but it's come too late. And I disagree with this. I think there is still time to read The Wall by Marlen Haushofer. I think there's something very timeless about this book. It doesn't, because it was written at the height of the Cold War, and there is that kind of existential threat of nuclear war and biological weaponry. But there is something still very contemporary about this book. There's something that it could be set in any time or place. The sense of place is obviously very specific, very particular, but it could potentially have been set at any time. A place like that could still definitely exist in the world. So the story, I think, has a timelessness about it. So to return to my original point of I Who Have Never Known Men, if you read and enjoyed that book, I believe you will love The Wall as well. It covers so many of the same themes. And if you found that you got something out of I Who Have Never Known Men, this is a natural progression. I recognize that there are some people who aren't going to like The Wall, and that's fine too. But if, like me, you also was a little disappointed by I Who Have Never Known Men, I think you should still give The Wall a try, because I found that I got so much out of it. And again, it is that kind of natural progression. I would really love to see more people talking about this. I think it is a kind of forgotten classic, a hidden gem, if you will. I'm glad that Penguin has reissued this book. I think it has the potential to really make a comeback and to be more recognized in the annals of feminist literature. So I really encourage you to seek out The Wall, and I would love to know what you think if you read it.